All right, guys, I want to talk about my latest article, 3 Precious Metals Stocks Looking at a Year to Remember. I think we have entered into a paradigm shift finally in the precious metals. A couple of reasons why. I really believe in the fundamentals. You remember, Janet Yellen of the U.S. Federal Reserve, she was essentially nominated for that position basically to engage the reversal in the U.S. monetary policy, meaning she was going to take a determined hawkish tone when it comes to monetary policy. She was going to raise the interest rates. She was going to champion that the economy was in recovery. And because the economy is in recovery, that therefore justifies a rise in interest rates. Well, guess what? A lot of that shisa has now changed. She is now dovish because in the meeting earlier this week, the Fed decided to keep the benchmark interest rates unchanged, and they forecasted that they are going to have a 50% reduction in planned interest rate hikes. That's just a bunch of time wasting to say that they made a big mistake. They miscalculated how bad the economy really is, and they're probably going to return to quantitative easing sooner rather than later. But forget all of that. You look at the currency markets. I think the big ones that obviously you have to look at, US dollar, okay, that's fairly obvious, and the Japanese yen. These two major currencies are at polar opposites. The US dollar is at all-time or near all-time strength, multi-year strength, should I say. And you have the Japanese yen, again, at multi-year low. So polar opposites, you would think that they will eventually have to correct back to an equilibrium point. Well, that obviously means that that's pretty bearish for the US dollar index. That translates into weaker purchasing power, i.e. inflation. That is good not only for gold and silver. You're looking at platinum, you're looking at palladium. You're going to look at those two metals that are going to see probably a sharp rise along with gold and silver prices. In times of economic uncertainty, as we are experiencing right now, you're seeing movement of money being flowed into the Japanese yen. Also, Japanese fund managers, they're dumping U.S. treasuries along with other foreign holdings. That is bearish again for the U.S. dollar, for the strength of the dollar. That is going to contribute to inflation on their part. You're looking at some of the news that have been coming out in Japan. Abenomics has been disappointing and has not resulted in the inflationary growth that Prime Minister Abe was hoping for. So this is a very uncertain time, and you're looking at very strong fundamental drivers that want to seek equilibrium, especially in the currency markets. I think, again, that is net bullish for gold, for silver, for platinum, and palladium. Obviously, a lot of you guys are bullish on gold and silver at this juncture, so I'm going to skip over those points. You can look at my article to get a little bit more detail on why I'm bullish on gold and silver bullion, as well as gold and silver mining stocks. But I want to focus on platinum and palladium, especially palladium. If you are thinking about engaging in the precious metals, obviously gold and silver are your most liquid markets. But if you want to get a little bit more speculative than the speculation towards gold and silver, look at palladium. I have been a champion for palladium for a very long time. I really love palladium. And if you love palladium, I think you want to take a look at Stillwater Mining Company, which is ticker symbol SWC. They are specialists in the platinum metal groups. And palladium, why do I like palladium? Because a lot of that supply of palladium comes from Russia. It comes from obviously a very geopolitically unstable region. As well, the Russian supply of palladium has been in decline for several years. Their output has been declining. And the amount of palladium that they have in reserves, that is a state secret. But you can infer through the declining production output that their reserves are dwindling. The automotive industry, their demand for palladium is sky high. That means that there's going to be a supply squeeze, in my opinion. Now, you can buy palladium outright. They do, in fact, sell palladium bars and palladium coins. I think that in the long term, that'll be that should turn out to be a profitable investment. But I really like SWC. This is one of the few North American companies, and maybe the only one that specializes in the extraction and refinement of palladium and platinum, the international automotive industry that cannot survive without that palladium. So Iron Man and the automotive industry, they can't go on without palladium. It is an absolute necessity for those two. So you want to look at, again, SWC, that's a ticker symbol, that could have a banner year in 2016. And it could be, I believe that the precious metals are going to find, the entire complex is going to find some real buying activity. I think that the economy is too messed up right now, the global economy, to justify, buying equities all the time. I think you want to be diversified into hard assets that have a lot of industrial demand and also have a lot of universal intrinsic value. So bottom line, precious metals, I think you want to avoid a lot of the noise. There's going to be a lot of mainstream people saying, gold is bullshit, don't buy it. I take a very different perspective. I take a very different argument. But if you want to really kind of, swing for the fences here, I think you look at palladium. I think you look at SWC.